You are listening to Complex Note, in which complex topics are being discussed related to technology. So today, let's discuss about a process model regarding software engineering. A process model is a specific roadmap for software engineering work. It defines the flow of all activities, actions, and tasks, and the degree of the iteration, the work product, and the organization of the work that must be done. A process model is like a detailed guide that shows the steps you need to follow to get something done. It's like a roadmap for a project. It tells you what action to take, how to organize work, and how to stay on track. The purpose of this to avoid confusion and chaos and keeping clear and structure. Think of it like a recipe. Okay, if you follow step by step, you will get the result you want. But if you skip steps or do in out of their order, they might get wrong. The process model helps you to make sure that everything is done in the right way and at the right time. So things stay organized and under control. Let's discuss the types of process models. Number one is prescriptive process model is all about having a clear plan and order for how a software should be developed. It makes sure that everything is done step by step in a structured way. So there is no confusion or randomness in the process. A prescriptive process model is a strict and a clear plan for how to develop a software. It tells you exactly what to do at each step in a set order. You follow these steps one after another, like a recipe with rules and guidelines for everything. But let's say, here's a question. That does this rigid plan still work in world where things change all the time? If we always follow these strict steps, we might struggle to adapt changes in the project. However, if we make process too flexible, we might lose control and organization. So, perspective model are all about keeping some basic activities. Each one focuses on the different way. Some models might focus on planning, while other might focus on coding or testing. In short, perspective models are used and they are useful when we need a clear step-by-step plan, but you also need to find a balance with the changes that might come up during the waterfall model is a step-by-step way to develop the software. It follows a fixed order, meaning you finish one step before moving to the next, and just like the water flowing down the waterfall. Steps in a waterfall model. Communication, talking to the customer and gather all the requirements. Okay. At the start, planning. Make a plan for time, cost, and resources. Number three, modeling. Design how the software will work. Construction, write down code and test it. Okay. Deployment, deploy the software uh, to the user and provide the support. When we use the waterfall method, here's a question: when we must use the waterfall method? So when the project is simple and the requirements are clear from the start, when making a small changes to an existing system like updating tax rule in accounting, meaning the things won't change much during the deployment, then we must choose waterfall. Okay, so now let's just discuss about what problems we may face with waterfall method. Real project doesn't always follow a straight path. Sometimes you need to get back and make changes. Customers don't always know everything they need at beginning. It takes a long time. The customer had to wait until the end to see working again. Mistakes are found too late. If something is wrong, you might have to go back and redo all that steps, wasting time, money, and effort. What are the advantages? It is a base model. It is used for small projects. It is simple and easy. The disadvantages of this include that it doesn't feedback. Okay, there is no experimentation. There is no parallelism. High risk and 60% effort in maintenance. Iterative waterfall method. It is basically just like waterfall method, but in here it allows feedback and changes at each stage if mistakes are found. Developers can go back and fix them before moving forward. If now let's discuss about the incremental process model. What is incremental process model? It is a way of making software step by step instead of all once. Instead of waiting for a long time to finish everything, we release a small part of it. Then we keep adding more features in later version. Then the first version called the core product only has the most important features. Then they add many extra features which are not added yet. User tried it and give feedback. People start using the software and tell us what they like and what they don't like. We improve it and add new feature. Based on feedback, we fix problem, add new things to make it better. Then we repeat this process until the software is complete. Which with each new version increment, the software becomes better and better the continues until this continues until the full product is ready. Okay, why this method is good? Because it is faster. We don't have to wait for too long. Quality, we can fix problem early before adding any features. Then it has less risk. If something goes wrong, we can fix it before moving to the next step. Then it is useful for big project. Instead of handling the huge project at once, we break it into smaller pieces. Now let's say what are the examples? Let's say imagine we are making a game, first version. Okay, it is only basic game works like running, jumping, etc. Then next version, we add enemies and levels. Then next version, we add weapons and characters. Then next version, we add multiplayer mode. Each time the game get better and better until it is fully completed. Look up into the diagram on page number 55. Now let's come to evolutionary process model. What is evolutionary process model? An evolutionary process model is a way of developing a software where the product grows and improves over the time. Instead of making the entire software in one go, we start with a basic version and keep updating it by adding a new feature and making improvement. Software is like a living thing. It keeps changing and evolving over time. Businesses and customers often change their requirements. So follow a strict steps or following a rigid plan doesn't always work. Instead of making the entire software at once, we start with a simple version and keep improving it. This is helpful when there is not enough time to make a full product, but we still need to launch something quickly. This main idea of the software is clear, but with extra detail will be added later. The market is changing fast and we need to update the software regularly. This model works in steps of iteration. Each new version adds more feature and fixes problem. It continues until the final product is completed. It is flexible and adaptive approach that allows software to grow and improve based on needs and what a business demand. Prototype model. What is a prototype model? Prototype model is a rough draft or demo version of a software system. This early version has limited features. It is not very reliable and may not perform well as compared to the final product. In this model, development start with collecting basic requirements. A quick and simple design is created, and prototype simple version is built. This prototype is then shared with the customer for feedback. Based on what customer suggestion, the team modifies the prototype and improves it. This process repeats until the customer is completely satisfied. Once approved, the final system is fully developed using the iterative waterfall methods.
Okay, so advantages of prototype model includes demo working model. Customer receive a functional prototype, helping them better understand the product and increasing satisfaction. Early visualization reduces misunderstanding in requirements. New requirements accommodation feedback from customer allows for continuous refinement of re- requirement. The prototype is iteratively modified until the final approval is achieved. Missing functionality and identification gaps in features or functionality can be detected and addressed early in development. Easy error detection. Early testing of the prototype helps identify defects sooner, giving time and cost in later stages, improve overall quality of the final project. Flexibility in development. The changes can be incorporated dynamically, making the model adaptable to evolving needs. So the of disadvantages of the prototype model include it is time consuming, frequent modification based on customer feedback can delay project completion. The increase in complexity, expanding the requirement may push the project beyond its original scope, leading to the higher complexity. Poor documentation, continuous changes can result in incomplete or inconsistent documentation. Unpredictable iteration. It is difficult to estimate how many iterations will be needed before final approval. Customer confusion. Customer may mistake the prototype for the final product, leading to unrealistic expectations.
The spiral model is a method used in software development and it is special because it focuses on handling risk during the development process. Here is the breakdown. It has spiral shape. Imagine like a spiral, like a shape of a spring. The software development process is represented as this spiral with many loops. Each loop is a part of the software development process. Phases. Every loop is in phases. Every loop in the spiral represent a phase step in the development of the software. The number of the phases can change depending on the project. For example, if there are many risks involved, you may have more phases to manage those risks. Role of the project manager: the project manager is in charge of deciding how many phases are needed. They look at the risk involved in the project and adjust the number of the phases accordingly. A cost and progress: radius of the spiral, the distance from the center of the spiral to the current point, shows the cost of the project so far, of how much money has been spent. Angular dimension: the angle how far around the spiral you have gone shows how much progress they have made in current phase. The spiral model is divided into four parts called quadrants. Each quadrant has its own set of tasks which help guide the project through each phases. Here is an easy explanation of each quadrant. What are the objective? Objective determination and identify alternative solution. What happens? The team starts by gathering the requirement from the customer, what the customer wants. Then the main objective of the phase are determined and analyzed. After this, alternative solution for achieving these objectives are proposed. What is it? It does it matter. This helps understanding what needs to be done and what different options exist for the solving problem. Identify and resolve risk. The team evaluates the different solutions proposed in the previous quadrant and select the best solution. Then the risk thing that could go wrong relate to the chosen solution are identified. One risk are down, the team comes up with the best strategies to resolve them. Managing risk early on ensure fewer surprises later in the project. A prototype, early version of the software is built at the end to this phase to test the chosen solution. Okay, then developing the next version of the product, the team work on the developing the features of the software based on the chosen solution. These features are then tested to make sure the work as expected. At the end of this quadrant, the next version of the software is ready. This is when actual software is built and it gets closer to what the final product will be. The customer take a look at the version of the software developed so far and provide feedback. Based on this feedback, the team plans for the next phase of development. This gives the customer a chance to see the progress and ensure the project stay aligned with their expectations. Planning for next phase ensure the smooth continuation. What are the advantages of spiral model? Number one, effective risk handling. The spiral model includes continuous risk analysis at each phases, making it ideal for the project with high uncertainty. The early identification and mitigation of risk reduce the chance of the project failure. It is suitable for large and complex projects due to its iterative systematic approach. It is well suited for large scale and mission critical projects. Each cycle refines the product, ensuring the better control over complexity. Then flexibility in changing requirements. Unlike the rigid model, e.g., waterfall, it allows easy incorporation of new requirements even in large stages. Changes can be implemented in subsequent iteration without major disruption. Early customer involvement and satisfaction. Customer can review the test prototype in early phase, ensuring alignment with expectations. Combines the strength of the iterative and waterfall method, integrate systematically planning like waterfall and with flexible iteration like agile. It ensures the better quality control through the repeated testing and validation. Okay, so disadvantages includes high complexity, requires it careful phases, planning and documentation at each cycle, uh, cost prohibitive for small project, frequent risk assessment and prototyping made it expensive to implement. It is best suited for large budget, not ideal for the simple or short-term project. Over reliance or risk analysis, project success heavily depends on accurate risk identification. It demands highly skilled expert. Inexperienced team may fail in proper risk evaluation. Unpredictable timeframes, since the iteration depends on a risk factor. Total phases when unknown initially make the deadline estimation challenge for a project manager. Meant to avoid this model, low budget or small scale development projects with fixed non-negotiable deadlines, team lacking the risk management